Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful, I'd like to welcome you, dear viewers, to another in our series in the light of Islam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We're looking at some further questions which have come to us from our viewers. The first, dear Dr. Bilal, when a couple decides to marry, what can the man see of his wife before they marry? Can they talk to each other and their views on different matters, if a mahram is with them? It is common for children of married cousins to suffer from various physical and mental disorders. Does Islam discourage this practice in any way? Okay, two issues concerning marriage. The first, what is a man allowed to see of his wife before marriage? Now, Prophet Muhammad ﷺ had told some of his companions, when they informed him that they planned to get married, he told them to go and look at his wife, look at the wives, and to look until they saw enough to satisfy them that this is the person they wanted to marry. And he warned that, in the women of Medina, there was something in their eyes, that, maybe people might not find attractive. Those who come from Mecca who didn't, this is not a particular feature which people of Mecca were familiar with. At any rate, the Prophet ﷺ had suggested the looking for the purpose of building more of an attraction between the two. And with that, we can see that Islam does not insist on what may be looked at as forced marriages, where children are forced to marry each other without really even knowing each other at all. No, there is arrangement. Islam does support the concept of arranging marriages, meaning that parents and relatives will help to find suitable spouses for the son and the daughter. And especially in the case of the daughter, Islam doesn't want to send her out looking for a husband, going around from this one to that one to ask this, to ask that. It doesn't conform with the shy nature that Islam encourages women to have. So, the family should help in the process. However, once somebody is chosen, then the male and the female both should have a look at each other, to ensure that these people have been suggested by their parents are in fact people, who are attractive to them. Now, what are the limits of what can be seen? This, generally speaking, has been held to be, the hair of the woman, normal to be covered. And of course, this is where there is a serious proposal here. It's not just anybody comes and asks the father, listen, I'm interested in your daughter, and I have a look at her. So he just goes and, no. This is a case where there's a serious proposal. He can see her hair, her arms, and her feet, up to as much as her knee. Because what is above is clearly prohibited. But, it does not say that she has to reveal everything, but, she, of these areas that I referred to, but whatever she reveals of it, if it is sufficient for him, then she stops at that point. And similarly, she should have a look at him. He should not be hidden from her view, so she could know whether he's heavy set or whether he's slim or whatever. She should have an idea of what he looks like, and whether this is to ensure that this person's build or whatever is something attractive to them. Now, the issue of marrying cousins, as a reader or a viewer has asked, does Islam not discourage this practice in any way? Well, if we look at the practice of the Prophet Muhammad, may God's peace and blessing be upon him, in terms of the wives that he took, and he had 9 wives at one time, very few of these were his relatives. The vast majority of them were beyond his immediate relatives. They were not his cousins. So we can say from the Prophet's practice himself, there is discouragement. It's not something which is a norm although he did marry his cousin, and Zainab, and this is part of what is permissible in Islam, and if it's kept, at a moderate scale, then there are really no dangers from it. Let's look at another question that we have here coming in from Dr. Rashid. Is writing in, Dr. Bilal Phillips, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Your program in the light of Islam is very good. Myself and my family, we watch it regularly. We hope that Sharjah Television, would continue such programs and perhaps give it extra time and make the information available to us. And we thank the station for its concern about the viewers. Alhamdulillah, we thank you for your kind words. Anyway, on to your question. What types of relaxation can be enjoyed with our children without compromising our religious principles? What alternatives can we offer to music, movies, and discos? Well, alternative types of relaxation, to music, movies, and discos, we can say begins with sport. Prophet ﷺ, had recommended certain sports. He recommended swimming, teaching your children swimming, to teach them also archery and horseback riding. He himself wrestled with his companions, did, races, foot races with his wives, races on camels and horses with his companions. All of these are among the desirable forms of relaxation. Of course, one can take them to a variety of locations where they have go-karts, for example, can go riding in the go-karts together, and so on and so forth. There are a variety of things, it requires parents to be a little bit creative, but there is enough to replace each and every one of these things. The music can be replaced with Quran and Anashid, to encourage them to read as much Quran as possible, to improve their recitation, give them the knowledge of the tajweed, how to beautify the voice, and at the same time establish the rules of Quran recitation in themselves. In the place of movies, talking about generally, I guess, our writer is suggesting that, the type of movies that people may be commonly watching, which involve a lot of forbidden material, and this can be replaced by Islamic movies. A lot of effort has been made to produce Islamic programs in the West, so it's now possible for one to order some of these programs wherein some of the Western techniques are utilized for entertaining, etc. And discos, of course, is a place where people go and dance and drink. We do need areas of, social clubs where Muslim youth can gather, but with wholesome entertainment there. Whether it's, there are various forms of pool or table tennis or whatever, variety of different things that we can put in these type of clubs, as well as encourage them into certain activities which would have to expand their thinking and open them up, more for, wholesome sport, and away as much as possible from the corruptive elements like Western music, movies, and discos. Okay, we have another question here coming to us from one of our viewers. This viewer is in Abu Dhabi. She writes, "Dear Dr. Bilal, could you please address the issue of honor killings, which is very common in both Jordan and Pakistan?" Well, the issue of honor killings, of course, has no place in Islam. No place in Islam at all. It's an individual thing. It may happen on an individual level, or it could be a communal thing. As in the case of Jordan, In Pakistan, there's been a number of cases have come up in the newspaper, where family members, usually the males, may go out and kill a female member of the family because she has dishonored the family, either through, committing adultery, fornication, these kind of things, or, going into clubs and exposing herself as a topless dancer or a variety of other similar practices. So, where these things have been done, in order to protect the honor of the family, some family members have taken it upon themselves to go and kill such girls. Or if they find a sister, a daughter, a mother, in communication with a male who they don't feel they have a right to be communicating with, they look at it as being some kind of preliminary to fornication or adultery, and they may step out and kill their sisters, their brothers, their mothers, aunts, etc., etc. It's a very unfortunate situation because Islam doesn't permit this kind of action, vigilante type action, nor does it condone the very concept that a person's life could be taken for such errors. I mean, there are specific punishments already set in the Sharia. If there's sufficient evidence to apply it, then you apply it. Even in the case where a man comes home and he finds his wife in bed with another man. I mean, what happens here? Islam requires that he has to have 4 witnesses to witness this man before this man will be executed, or his wife be executed. Now, where is he going to find 4 witnesses? He's going to run back out into the streets and call 4 people off the street to come in and try and observe it? No, of course, it will be very difficult. So in such cases, he is allowed to take his case to the court and swear that